Good morning, Periscope family. What is today? It's Wednesday. So, hey, Alan, thanks for joining. That was quick. Thanks, Brenda, for jumping on this morning. And we're going to take a little bit different approach to our Periscope piece this morning because yesterday I was watching my game film, learned a bunch from that. And then last night, I stayed up and watched a class on Periscope. And I just want to give a shout out for, hey there, Brenda. Hey there, Sharon. All of you guys that are using Periscope, one of the people that Cheryl follows on social media is a lady named Kelly Mirabella, Mirabella, and her business is Stellar Media. But anyway, she did a free class on Udemy, udemy.com. And so I took her free class last night. It took about an hour and went through and watched it. It's a great class, great skill set for growing your Periscope skill set. Good morning. My wife is on. She's at jury duty today, and she's on watching us. So anyway, I learned a bunch from that, learned a bunch from my game film. And one of the things I learned yesterday was that when I do a whole outline of notes, it really disconnects me from what I'm doing. So today's training for me is going to be, one, watching for the detractors that come on. I found out how to block them, so that'll help us a bunch. We'll avoid some of that stuff. There's a little technique I learned from her call that's very helpful if you're broadcasting. When you get ready to start your broadcast, there's a little arrow. There's a little arrow that gives you the location for where you are. And if you hit that arrow, it's right on the left, right above where it says start broadcast. And if you turn that off, then you don't show up on the big global map where you tend to pick up a lot of the detractors, a lot of the junk stuff. So just click that little button when you're getting ready to broadcast, turn off your location, and it will, let's turn this down. And so by turning off your location, that will get rid of a bunch of the folks that are out trolling and just watching for you on there. So we're doing that today. So what I want to take 5 minutes on today, maybe 7, maybe 8, but we'll keep it real short, is how do we create change in our life and how do we create the things that matter to us? And for so many years, what I was trained to do was to set these amazing goals. So you make your goal list. A bunch of you have done, dream boards. So I used to have my dream boards up on the wall over there. And you have this whole big list of goals and you stick them in your pocket and you read your goals every day and you make your dream boards. And one day I was listening to my wife, interestingly enough, and she said, I don't think goal setting works. Interestingly enough, about a month later, I was in another event with a great trainer and he said, goal setting doesn't work. And that if you just take that for a minute and start thinking about, does goal setting not work? And I think for some people, perhaps it does. But the question is, does it really produce the results that everybody says it was? And my aha moment was when I realized that if goal setting really worked, there would only be one book on goal setting and everybody would be creating amazing results. I've got over here, Cheryl and I are really big. Let's see if we can do that. There we go. There's part of my library. And that's just a small part of my library. Cheryl has a library even bigger than that. And look at that. I'm learning how to make this thing back. Okay. So if all the goal setting stuff worked, then I would have been like hugely, amazingly successful because we had and have created over the years all of these dream boards. So if goal setting doesn't work, the question is, what does work? Well, I was really pushing into that about 1.5 years ago because over the course of the last 30 years, I've had tremendous success. And I've also had some real deep failures. Some of you can relate to that. And they've kind of gone like this over the years. And I remember laying there in bed and about 1.5 years ago, and I wasn't sleeping well because this thing hadn't turned out the way I wanted it to turn out. And I was like, okay, Lord, how am I going to create the success I want to create in this next season of my life? Because I didn't want to keep doing this piece. And about then, a book came across my desk, a great book called The One Thing. And I usually read books that are recommended by people I trust and respect. And so this came from somebody that said it was one of their favorite books. So The One Thing, The Surprisingly Simple Truth Behind Extraordinary Results, and the author's name is Gary Keller, Keller. And the premise of Gary's book is that instead of picking all of these things to do, you pick the one thing. So if you're trying to create something new in your life, what's the one thing you can do that will make the biggest difference? So I was looking at my goal sheet because every day I had this, huge to-do list and the goal sheets and all of that stuff. And I was looking at all that going, okay, Lord, what's the one thing? Because my brain wasn't wrapping around the one thing too well, as evidenced by the fruit that I had produced in my life over the last 30 years. So I wasn't too trusting of my own ability to pick out the one thing. And so my prayer time, the Lord said, Forrest, the one thing is me. So this is for me now. So my one thing was to grow my time and my relationship with the Lord. So then when I looked at that, he said, the one thing is the time you spend each day with me. So how do we put that in place? Okay, Cheryl says she can't hear. Okay. So how do we take the one thing and do something with it? So I said, the one thing I'm going to do every day is I'm going to start my day with a little bit of time in the scripture and a little bit of time in the journal. And I did that every day. I've done that every day now for almost a year and a half. What's interesting about that process is it revealed the other sort of misconception that I see so much in this goal setting process. And that's that goal setting changes everything in 21 days. And I'm firmly convinced that 21 days will get you off to a warm start, but it does not create a habit that's life changing. And so it was, week 1, week 2, week 3, month 1, month 2, month 3. And I remember about month 2, 3 saying, Lord, this is not going as well as I'd like. Where's the suddenly? Where's the breakthrough? Where's the results? And I remember him sort of laughing out loud. Yes, God, LOLs. And he said, Forrest, you're 61 years old. You've been doing this for just 2 months? Seriously? And it was so clear to me that this was a process. This was the one thing that I needed to stay in the game on for a very, very, very extended period of time. It was like I was going to keep doing that. So bringing kind of closure to that story this morning, different schedule, had to get Cheryl out the door early for jury duty. And I knew I needed to be on my Periscope at about 8 because right now doing this Periscope broadcast every day is the one thing for me right now. Doing my Periscope app, practicing my voice, doing my game film after this is over, going back and reassessing what we're going to do each day, showing up each day. This is the one thing that I'm adding to now. My get started time, my prayer time, that one thing has become a part of me. So it's no longer the one thing because it just happens automatically. So this morning, I'm off schedule. I'm getting ready to do this, and it wasn't coming together quite right. And it just hit me. Forrest, you still got to do the one thing, which is my quiet time. So what I do is, I'll just show you this. We can make this work. Where is it? There we go. So I get on my rebounder. And the cool thing about being on my rebounder is it's how I start my day with a little bit of exercise. And I can do 10 minutes on it, and it just changes everything. And while I'm on my rebounder, what I have the ability to do is I have my, what do I want to call it? These are my keywords from the Lord. This is my thought development. This is my game plan. These are the pieces that I've been putting together over the last year for me. And there we go. Bring that back. And so I got on my rebounder for about 10 minutes. I'll read that out loud. I've got some music going on. And we need to get rid of that. Okay, how do we get that off there? There we go. And so that 10 minutes got me ready for this. That was my one thing that I always do. And then I rolled into my one new thing, which is getting ready for my Periscope broadcast. So, summary, wrapping this up for you guys. Pick the one thing that you feel is most critical to creating the new thing that you want to create, and make the commitment to doing that every day. As you have that success with it each day, take the time to celebrate. Remember, my new hero is the tortoise, and the tortoise always wins. So I'm always wanting to stop and take time to celebrate. So even if the Periscope app doesn't go great, even if there's detractors, even if my eyes aren't great or my voice isn't great, I take the time now to celebrate the fact that I did the one thing, which was to show up and do this broadcast, whether it's for 3 people or 50 people or 75 people. I take the time to celebrate that and to literally go, good job, Forrest, you did the one thing today. So I want to encourage all of you, take time, get out your journal, discover the one thing that you believe, that you feel, that the Lord tells you is going to make the biggest difference in your life, and begin to put that into your schedule every day. It can be your prayer time, it can be your exercise time, it can be reading a book. There are so many things, a healthy habit. Oh, quick report in, by the way, yesterday I did my piece on the fasting. So 2.5 days now of the fasting program, and we've dropped just a smidge over 5 pounds, not, body fat, but what that's doing, that's like 5 pounds of inflammation and junk that's just going away. So when I woke up this morning and saw that 5 pounds was gone in the last 2 days, I celebrated that because last night was a little tough. And I reminded myself, oh, there we go, Brenda's on her fast too, day 2, cool. And, it's getting me through is my hot fat coffee drink, my olive oil shots. Last night I needed a little bit of a boost, so I actually took a spoon and put a big wad of Kerrygold butter on it and topped it with a little bit of local honey. So that little honey and the Kerrygold butter digested easily, gave me some energy, gave me an emotional boost. And I woke up this morning and the Lord said, Forrest, we're going to go for another day. So we're moving toward noon on that. We're moving to the next day. I'm not being legalistic about the process, but I'm giving my body the time it needs to get rid of the inflammation. And as the inflammation is leaving, the brain is clearing up, and it's allowing me to stay focused on the one thing that needs to happen on an hourly basis in my life. So, hey, we're about 10 minutes on this. Thank you guys for being a part of my scope today. Thank you for being a part of my community. Thank you for your love, for your hearts, for your shares. Any way that Cheryl and I can support you, bless you in creating a healthier, more abundant, more prosperous lifestyle, let us know. We love you and we appreciate you. And we'll see you all tomorrow on our favorite new app, Periscope. Be blessed and have an amazing day.